met you. I'll break 1,000 more, baby, before I am through. I wanna be yours, pretty baby, yours and yours alone. I'm here to tell you, honey, that I'm bad to the bone, bad to the bone, bad to the bone.
It is the big show. What a privilege to be sitting in for Willie. Matt Patrick, final hour this afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. 700 WLW. Lots of things to talk about. We're talking about Bert and Ernie getting married. A lot of people weighing in on that. I've also got Rich Hoffman standing by here. We're going to talk a little more about property taxes. But let me grab Don on his cell phone just real quick here because he's been hanging on for a while. Hey, Don, 700 WLW. Now, you want to say something about Harry Potter?
Yeah, Matt, enjoying your show today. I just wanted to let you know that, this has gotten to the point where it's now an agenda-driven thing. Instead of just entertaining us, they're telling us Bert and Ernie should be married. It's a gay agenda. We have also, in Harry Potter's novels, J.K. Rowling, the author, has now decided to say that Professor Dumbledore, the professor at the School of Hogwarts, is gay now. Yeah. After reading several of the books, seeing the movies, all of a sudden, she decided to say that he's gay.
What?
I mean, we want to be entertained. We don't want to be having an agenda driven down our throat.
But why? What does it matter? I mean, what his sexual proclivities are? I don't care.
I really don't care either. But the fact is, why all of a sudden we decided to put an agenda in? And kids are reading this stuff, and it's like, come on, give me a break.
Is it? Are we going to? Don, great call. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, does it matter if Bert and Ernie are married or not married? I mean, does it matter? I mean, look. If they're gay, they're gay. Okay, it's not about what they do behind the bedroom door, although they are in bed a lot together, but in separate beds, like Ozzie and Harriet were. I don't know. 513-749-7000, toll free 1-800-the-big-one, pound 700 on your AT&T. You see Ernie in the bathtub a lot too with that rubber ducky. Something going on there. Let me grab Rich Hoffman right now. Rich, 700 WLW, welcome. Hey, this could be the segue of the year here, Richard.
Yeah. You're right. Bert and Ernie are in bed an awful lot together.
But they're in separate beds, Rich.
Yeah, they are, and that's where it's supposed to be nice and clean. We got to keep that kind of stuff out of the whole discussion.
Rich, you and I are going to talk a little bit about, you're on the committee to defeat the Lakota schools school levy. Is that right?
That's right.
And explain to me your position. I would agree with you. A lot of people, it's interesting because this afternoon it's pretty much been, I would have to say 50-50. Those that are for, those that are against, which is unusual. Usually people come with their teeth bared at me when I go down this road. But give me the reasons why you guys formed this committee, and I'm sure you've done a lot more research on it than I have.
Oh, yeah. When you look at this and, when you first get involved in these things, and that's where the emotion, I heard some of the callers, and that's what prompted me to call. I was sort of sitting back and enjoying listening. But as you hear people's reasons, you can't help but shake your head. And when you first start down the path, you of course, you feel emotional about it because the whole thing is hung on children. And, we all love our children. And, it becomes... When you take emotion and put it into it, you lose all perspective. When you start digging a little bit, you find out that what it's really about is a lack of management control of the money that we give them. And if you keep giving them that level of money, they'll just keep taking it. And Daryl Parks has said this before. If you give them 2 cents, they'll ask for 3. If you give them 4 cents, they'll ask for 5 because
right.
there's no regulation. And that's fine with everybody in government. If you allow them to make the decision, they're always going to ask for more. If you don't have management control, then which is the people in the voting booth and SB 5, those are all management controls. If you don't have those in place, you're going to find out-of-control budgets.
Well, and that's what we have, Rich, and we not only have it in our schools, but we have it, in our federal government. And I began Willie's program today by saying, I'm trying to find some silver lining here, and I think that one of the silver linings of this whole debate here is that we have become, as a nation, focused on spending, focused on whether or not the people that we give our tax dollars to are really spending them wisely. We used to pay a lot of lip service to that, but I don't know how much we really pay. We'd say that, but did we really care? It didn't matter to us. Well, now it does. Now we've gotten to critical mass. And Rich, what is taking place in Washington, where we are in an absolutely critical stage of our economy, of our fiscal health, the same thing is happening in our schools here in the state of Ohio. And
exactly.
Until we address those issues, and we're going to, like we need to address Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security in this country, the three big sacred cows, we have got to address what we're doing with our tax dollars, with our schools here. We've got to, Rich.
If you don't, you're enabling bad things to happen. If you don't say no to these school levies, you're actually contributing to the problem. And that's and what I said at the school board meeting the other night is, even though I'm against the levy, I still expect Lakota to be a great school district. If I put thousands of dollars of my property tax into the school system and I support it that way, I expect good results. I don't expect you to tell me money is always throwing money at it's going to make it better. That is not what I want to hear. But what's going on is just like with the PETA girls down there on Fountain Square right now. They're using sex to sell a political agenda.
Are the teachers protesting without clothing on, Rich? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, they might pass more levies if they did. Well, no, wait a minute, maybe not.
Yeah.
Unless it's Stacy Schuler or someone like that.
Yeah, I was just going to say. God, we don't need another. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. But no, I understand what you're saying. Hey, Rich, thank you for your phone call.
Oh, no problem.
I appreciate it, and it's he is exactly right. And Rich, thanks so much. I don't think that honestly, this isn't rocket science. And so many times you will find, whether it's a radio talk show host or as someone on television or a politician or something, and this is one of the things when people ask me, they say, well, what do you try and do in your radio show? What makes you different? Well, I'm not Bill Cunningham. I aspire to be, of course, but I'm not. Not many of us are. But one of the things I do that I've always tried to do on my shows is I try to keep everything really simple. Because when I listen to pundits, whether they be politicians, business people, radio talk show hosts, TV people, I want you to talk to me like I'm 3 years old. Make me understand. Now, I may be smarter on a particular subject than the next guy, and he may be smarter on something than I am, but I think it's important that just talk to me like I'm 3 years old so I can understand it. And don't worry about me being, offended in any way. Feel free. Just to, don't be condescending to me, but break it down to the lowest common denominator so that I can understand it. And Rich did that. If you continue to hand money to administrations in schools or teachers' unions or whatever the case may be, you've lost control of your money, and they will continue to take more. Why wouldn't they? It's the same scenario as, people that are on welfare. They just continue to take it and take it and take it, and they figure out ways to get more. And they adjust their lives in many cases, not all, but in many cases, so that they don't have to get off of welfare. That's not what it was designed to do. But we've become a country of people that believe that we are entitled. Well, you're not entitled. We would like to have the greatest school system in our neighborhood, in our district, in our county. But you're not guaranteed that. It's something to strive for. But it can't always happen. And what's going on now is that we have reached a point of diminishing returns. Because of the way we finance our schools, schools have gotten to the point where they can operate no other way. They can't do it any other way. They'd say, we can't do it. We just can't do it. I'll bet you can. I'll bet you can. Now, it may require you to think way outside the box. But I can point to Americans who are doing things they never thought they would do. Because it's the best example I can think of. For me, I found myself in my life having to spend a tremendous amount of time living away from my family in order to make a living. I didn't want to. I hated it, but I did what I needed to do. And I didn't care for it. It was uncomfortable. It was not what I was used to. But it was necessary. And my family didn't like it. And it was tough on us. But what was interesting was after a certain period of time, we learned to accept it and to do the best we could until such time as things changed. And they did. And now I don't have to do that as much. I work as much, but I still see my I stay my family a lot more than I used to. I'm not living in a different place, 3-4 days a week. There's a lot of people that do. There's a lot of people that live away from their family for months at a time, years at a time, in order to make ends meet. People in America today are doing things they never thought they could do, they never thought they would do. Well, that's what we're going to have to do with some of our school districts. It's time, and it's the same thing that we're going to have to do in this country. You do it. You are expected to do it. We need to expect our schools, our cities, our businesses, all to do the same thing. A lot of people on the phones. Let's come back, grab some of your phone calls. That's up next. 700 WLW.